It sounds like an extreme idea. Your elected officials pushed to the side while an outsider runs your city. But in one place where it has happened, it has meant regaining control.
She has been a savior for our city.
Nearly 3 years ago, the city of Ecorse, in the shadow of Detroit, was on the brink of financial collapse again. First in 1986 when a court intervened, and then 23 years later, there was corruption,
conspiracy, bribery, and fraud.
and mismanagement. Each year, the city of 9,300 residents was spending millions more than it was taking in. It was looting money from funds meant for other things, like schools.
Oh, it wasn't it.
The city's deficit was 50% more than its annual operating budget. The state determined there was a crisis, and in 2009, Governor Granholm named Joyce Parker as emergency manager. She was an outsider but worked in unelected city management roles in 6 cities over 3 decades. She hadn't seen anything quite like Ecorse.
No one was really watching the budget, how much money was being spent. The city was spending about $4.5 to $5 million more every year than what they were bringing in.
She ordered an audit, determined what services city taxpayers valued most, and got to work.
I can't begin to tell you how much money I've saved just by going out for bid.
She also saved money by restructuring the city's debt, settling lawsuits against the city, and managing the Public Works Department in-house. She also tackled the city's payroll, an especially tough job.
It's difficult to go from getting 5% increases every year to maybe no increases for the next 3 years or taking a cut in pay.
Parker faced huge resistance from government unions, in particular those representing police and firefighters.
I wasn't able to reduce any salaries. I was not able to reduce any benefits under the contract. I was not able to make any changes with working conditions.
The contracts eventually expired, but Parker could get no one to the bargaining table.
If the contract expires, most of the provisions continue until you have a new contract in place.
The contracts enabled workers to easily bring up overtime. 1 year, the bill for 32 employees was $500,000. Then a break. In 2011, Michigan passed Public Act 4. It redefined emergency managers, giving them power to set aside those contracts.
It was critical for the city to some extent in order to move forward and to really finalize the other reductions necessary in order to balance the city's budget.
Parker was now able to make changes in those departments so that she could serve taxpayers more than government unions. Changes in the police and firefighter contracts alone would save the city $1 million a year, 1/10 of the city's budget.
It's been a nonstop fight.
Not surprisingly, union members are not happy with the changes.
We did not put the city in that position. If you look at average cities, what it costs their fire department and their police departments, I think we were paying, the city was like 13% was for police and fire, and yet they still cut us.
City administrators question that percent. In any case, Parker is trying to combine police and fire service into a public safety department where staffers can do both jobs. This way, the city can afford to keep more officers on duty at once. Firefighters are skeptical it will work.
What's going to happen when somebody lights a house on fire and then somebody goes and robs the bank? Where are the cops going to be at?
Parker hopes that someday employees like taxpayers will appreciate the benefits of a solvent city. The alternative to an emergency manager would be bankruptcy. And that could hurt the city's bond rating, causing more trouble, says Mackinac Center adjunct scholar Michael Hicks.
You'll pay more for water sewer projects. You'll pay more for any infrastructure improvements that you might need. Bond ratings may or may not drop precipitously, but it's certainly not going to help the bottom line.
And bankruptcy could be ugly in other ways.
When you consider bankruptcy, generally you may come in, you sell all of the city's assets. You don't really think about service delivery as much and what level of staffing you might need and other things in order for the city to continue long term.
Ecorse is not perfect, but under emergency management, it is a far place from where it was 3 years ago. Investors have taken notice. A private developer is rebuilding these subsidized housing units at his own expense. A local church is winning grants for community projects like the Senior Housing Center.
She's worked well with us and with our pastor, of course, and like I say, everything is looking up.
Parker says Ecorse has also made friends again with its largest taxpayer, U.S. Steel, and city residents seem happier.
We needed a person who had the authority to do some of the things that she has done.
As for City Council on the sidelines,
it's been, I can't say good or bad, it's been very interesting for us. We have no decision making, but from what I understand now, we are within budget for the next 2 years, which is a wonderful thing.
Parker says elected officials could be back in place by the end of the year. And to make sure Ecorse stays on the right path, Parker wants the city to hire an unelected manager, someone she'll train before she leaves.